Hello again my friends, this is the Boy and His Dog and welcome to the channel where I talk about, play, rank and review games on the Evercade old and new. In today's episode we continue our deeper dive of the Piko Interactive 4 collection with the cover star game Glover, the Nintendo 64 iteration. Yeah, first game from this machine, first 64-bit titles. How does it fare on our good old Evercade system? Let's get stuck in. After a magical accident where Crystal Castle's 7 turret crystals turned to rubber balls and became scattered across 6 perilous worlds, Glover, a sentient glove, was tasked with retrieving them and bringing them back to the castle, to not only return them to their original form, but save the wizard before he's turned to stone forever. Glover is a solo 3D platformer developed by the Oliver Twins and Interactive Studios and originally released on the Nintendo 64 in 1998. Of course, long-time collectors of Evercade and older video game players in general will know the Oliver Twins from their fantastic Dizzy series. I myself will forever adore them for creating that legendary silly egg. After a groovy and simple intro, we are presented with the hub world. The place is pretty dark and foreboding, but don't worry, the more worlds you complete and crystals return to the castle, the lighter the world will become. Pretty much a reversal of some other titles. Straight off the bat, a core edition feature, although it's only a reskinning of what was there before. We get in-game Caddy giving us tips and tricks on how to play the game. When is Caddy gonna get his own exclusive Evercade game? Eh, Blaze? Eh? The 3D graphics are solid enough for the time and tech this was built for. I do love me some early polygonal 3D from either PlayStation or N64. It's such a wonderful charm to it now. Extra points if the camera gets caught, if we get any wall wobbles, or we can see behind or gaps in a wall. Always love that. But I haven't seen any yet. Before heading off to your first world, it is worth diving into the well to enter the training area. This area can also be selected from the main menu and it definitely helps with this game. Because it's simple enough to control Glover himself, you can double jump and fist slam, after jump, even cartwheel through narrow spaces. And running around is simple enough too. But when you get hold of a ball, it all changes. There are many different things you can do with a ball. Flick it, slap it, bounce and throw it. You can bounce to get higher and then throw it to reach out of range targets. Glover by himself can't swim, so he will always sink to the bottom of bodies of water and you must run along the floor. But a ball floats, so jumping on the ball you can traverse the top of the water, but controls are obviously reversed, which I thought was a nice touch. It does become more complicated with different types. You can change the ball to a heavy one will smash certain objects, kill some enemies and will sink to the bottom of water if there's a ball switch down there to hit. Something I forgot on a particular stage and was forever searching for a switch to drain the water, which didn't exist. It did take my brain a while to get around all the different things you can do and which button did what, but I got there, at least when it came to different actions I can perform. What took much longer, however, and I'm still not sure if I am any closer to being mastering it, is actually controlling the ball, specifically in the more abstract areas you find yourself in later in the game. goal of the game structurally is to get that darn ball from the beginning of the level to the end. Get it through all 3 stages and a boss, and a bonus stage 2, more on that in a bit, and you can finally drag it out to the hub world, roll it beneath the castle to revert it to its original form and unlock the next world to enter. Of course there are a ton of obstacles in your way, and it only gets more abstract and bizarre as you go. The second world especially loves to clown you, see what I did there, and really shows you what beastly things this game can throw you. But it don't stop when you move beyond. Be aware, frustrations will arise while playing this game. A lot of patience is needed when trying to attack these assault courses of utter madness. You see, there are many rollways that are up high. Some get very narrow, some are on a gradient, some start to slowly lean in a downward direction once you have weight to the side of it. To begin with, these could be above ground, or you're slowly working your way up, so there's always what came before beneath, if that makes sense, which can be frustrating in itself, having to keep starting at the bottom again, but at least you can start again. Later ones will be floating above a bottomless pit, yay, after just clearing a decent section since the last checkpoint. Prepare for many terrifying situations as you try to get that ball across some twisty, turny, leany, beachy platforms of pure undulated evil. And it happens quite a lot. You see, what makes these sections infinitely trickier is the control scheme, which, hear me out, does a fine job considering it was originally analog controls, but my Milo, this could really do with analog camera controls now, because trying to get round trickier bends on a narrow, twisty, gradiented path with shoulder control camera and a D-pad can be a bit of a hair-raising experience. It can be done, it's just much trickier than the alternative. I would love to re-examine this game when the Evercade is finally analog compatible, something we have been promised numerous times. An assortment of other shenanigans are thrown your way too. Switch puzzles, some that need a good fisting, while others need you to bounce your ball to activate. Teeth to be whacked, pachinko to be overcome, spinny teacups of death, swinging pirate ships that may or may not have made me cry after an hour of bouncy ball attempts, and bouncy ball small platform sections created from the mind of a psychopath. Sorry, I may be getting carried away now. I know they weren't. And that's before we even start talking about the various beasties and bosses you get to face on your wacky journey. There are a good variety of enemies and creatures dotted around the various stages. Some can even help you if you can jump on their back, like ones with a blade you can use to kill. And others that can jump really high. While others still have unique characteristics like the balloon elephants who can suck your ball up and need to be popped. Of course, with Evercade's save state system, some of the frustrations can be removed by simply quick saving before any really tricky section, meaning you only have to retry this particular section when you fall off, which you will inevitably do quite a few. Apart from getting the ball, there are other items, the most important we will get to in a moment, but there are extra lives up for grabs. Invincibility, a headcopter, well, I don't know what to call them. It's better to Gadget Adam, didn't he? And other groovy things too. But what you'll see littered around the stages most is cards. Loads and loads of cards. Collecting these will give you points. Collecting loads quickly in a row will score you bonus points. And collecting them with the ball will score you even more. But what's more important than all that is there is a set amount per stage, and some can be tricky to find. Some enemies even hold them too. But collecting them all in a world that's over all 3 stages, and after you defeat the boss of each world, you'll be transported to a bonus game, set in quite the different style to the main game and unique to each world. This gives you great incentive to return to Glover after you finish the end, because after a while, on your first playthrough. Guaranteed it's more about stage shenanigans survival than trying to 100% everything. But if you want to first time around, by all means enjoy the pain. Also, there is a time attack mode as well, so there's quite a lot of replayability. My final thoughts on this game: I think without the ability to casually save state on the trickier sections, I would no longer have hair. But I still would have played it regardless, because I kind of enjoyed the whole affair. The different worlds and unique paths through them kept bringing me back. I was determined, tongue sticking out and occasionally bitten down on, I would complete each section. I guess I owed it to the Oliver twins, who have given me such joy with the Dizzy games. But my goodness, is the difficulty in the other direction by a long way. A stoner game this is not. I think in the end it does deserve to be the cover star on the cart. First, it shows the Evercade can run N64 games just fine. Well, with this example anyway. If you can get into it or not, I think it all depends on your patience and frustration boundaries. Is the room soundproof so people don't hear your very loud and continuous expletives? Have your spare controller just in case. Joking aside, I think this game is unique enough and has enough interesting different things to do within each world to keep you going, if you can of course allow yourself a little bit of pain and patience to get past some very tricky sections that I think are made slightly worse to navigate without analog, but it's certainly not impossible. And if you've made it here to the end of the episode, thanks ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or comment if you'd like. Either way, I'm just chuffed you poked your head in for a goosey gander. As always, I hope you're having the most awesomest of days, my friends. And until next time, be singing.